Alright guys, oh my god, Streets of Rage 4, as I said before, it is here. I am going to start with pretty much everything that we know about the game so far and start talking about, the things that I want to see out of the project and everything. I might not do the introductory podcast, considering, all the things that I want to talk about in the podcast. I've kind of actually decided to do in separate videos, but in the future I will be doing interviews with many of the people in the community, streamers, just fans in general, and hopefully the dev team for Streets of Rage 4. But anyway, let's get into this. I just want to jump into it. I'm going to let the screenshots just kind of roll. You guys can have a look at the screenshots here. It's the only screenshots that we have right now. I haven't found any other ones. If I do find some other ones, I'll probably put them in the next video. But yes, I have plenty of info on Streets of Rage 4 from the PAX build. Unfortunately, I couldn't make it to PAX West this year. Well, actually, it would have been my first year going to PAX West, actually, come to think of it. But yeah, I couldn't make it to PAX West, and when we found out about Streets of Rage 4, it was already too soon for me to get things figured out to actually get out there and play the build. So hopefully there will be another event for me to get my hands on the build myself and see. But I'm glad to see that we finally got some info on the gameplay, because that was my biggest worry with the project. Not that I had anything against the teams or anything like that, but I really don't know too much about their games. Like I said, I've played Streets of Fury. I played a little bit of Windjammers. Windjammers was a pretty cool arcade game that they brought back, that Dotemu brought back. And I actually did not get a chance to play the Wonder Boy remake. I really haven't gotten into the Wonder Boy series. I think I played maybe the first game and such. So, but hearing the things that I heard about them and how well that remake went and how fans are happy with that, it seems like they have a lot of respect for these IPs. So I don't think we have a lot to worry about here. I think, I'll get into it in a minute. I'll get into my thoughts in a minute. Let me just give you guys this info. First off, shout out to Ars Technica and VG247 for giving us the info on the PAX build. They got a chance to play it behind closed doors. It wasn't like an open thing. You had to set up an appointment for that. So shout out to them for giving us this info. But first I'm going to start off by telling you guys, info on the game. The developers of the game are Lizard Cube, the ones behind the Wonder Boy, the Dragon's Trap remake, as I said before. Dotemu, they did Windjammers, they're doing Windjammers 2. Guard Crush did Streets of Fury. I covered all this in the trailer analysis video, but I figured I'd just, jump in and give you guys a little bit of that info. But let's get into the gameplay. That is what I did. That is what I was really, really, really concerned about, and hearing about this PAX build has put those concerns to rest. Now, I am going to say that there are some things that I was expecting that I would have, done in a project like this, working on Project Neo and whatnot, that aren't here. But that doesn't mean anything. Like, this game could be really solid with what they have so far from what I'm seeing. Alright, so first off, the gameplay is back to a 3-button design. It's not the 6-button design that Streets of Rage 3 had. Now, this isn't a really big deal to me because the other 3 buttons were just shortcut buttons. One button was for back attack, which can be done with attack and jump pressed together. And the other button was your combo ender, which you would do by holding down attack and letting go, or just doing a combo. And then the third button, which I'm going to suspect that there may not be an upgrade star system like in 3, considering this. But the third extra button was actually a shortcut button for that, where you would press X, which is which is the button, and then you would push the combination of inputs. So, like for Axel's 2-star blitz attack, which is his upgraded grand upper where he does the dragon hook, you would press X down forward. Or if you wanted to do the full thing with the flying uppercut, you would press X back down forward. For those of you that didn't know that, I'm willing to bet there are people out there who play Streets of Rage 3 and didn't even know you can do those attacks without the upgrades. But yeah, it's back to a 3-button layout. which is attack, jump, and special. I mean, this is all you really need. Like I said, I played games like Fight and Rage. Fight and Rage just came out recently, and they only have a 3-button system, and they did a lot with the button system. I hope. It seems like the team has actually been paying attention to the community. Once I get into a lot of these gameplay elements, you'll see that. Like this is stuff that we've been talking about. This is stuff that I talked about on my streams. I've talked about it on Discord. I said it about 1 million times. And, now people are making conspiracy theories that, I had some part of the project or something. No, come on, guys. It's just a coincidence. We all have common ideas in the community, Let's not get all crazy. The next thing is health loss from specials regenerates. Now, I'm not entirely sure how this works. Like I said, I haven't played the build myself. From what I'm hearing, at first I thought it works like the the focus attack from Street Fighter 4. The focus attack from Street Fighter 4, where you do your focus attack and your potential health comes back as long as you don't get hit. Now that's what I heard at first. That's how it works. But now I'm hearing that it regenerates when you attack. So you have a chance to bring back your health from that special move as long as you are attacking. So when you do attacks, it rebuilds that health that you drained from using your special attack. Now this is actually pretty cool. If that's how it works, I actually really like that. That really encourages the player to be more aggressive after using their special. And it's also a good way to kind of put strategy into the game, because you're really gambling. You got to make sure you don't get hit back in retaliation when you're trying to get your health back from using your special by using attack. So if that's how it works, I have to applaud them, because that is it's been done in Plan Brawl. I was implementing it in Project Neo, but not like that. Not in a sense where you have to attack to regain your health. That right there, that's why I'm not so worried about this team working on this project anymore. Just stuff. That's all it took, was that little tidbit of information. That it was. I'm stuttering here because it's just like it's amazing. They took something that that we kind of tossed around the community as to what the Streets of Rage 4 should do, and they expanded upon it somehow in a way that we wouldn't even have thought about. Nobody thought about having it work like that. But anyway, sorry. I'm rambling on. I'm just really excited about all this stuff. All right. So the next thing is juggling. Now I mentioned this in the analysis video because you can see it in the trailer when they're doing their special attacks. But more specifically, reading VG247's article, juggling works very similar to Fight and Rage. Very similar to Fight and Rage. You can actually throw enemies into each other as well. That's back, so we don't have to worry about that not being a thing. You can actually throw enemies into each other, but you can also throw enemies to the other player. Now, from the sounds of it, if you can continue to combo with the other player, now that's another thing that Shaolin Monks did too. I'm just gonna give that a little shout out because I love that game as well. But if you can do that, to me it sounds like Streets of Rage 1 and 3, where when you throw an enemy at your partner, it doesn't hit them. And if that's the case, I'm really happy about that, because that means that even though you can still hit each other, which is another thing, friendly fire is back. Even though you can hit each other, it's only in that instance of actually attacking each other as opposed to throwing enemies into each other. So hopefully that is the case, and to know that you can actually continue to combo. Now, even if you can get hit by a thrown enemy, I guess it is a little bit balanced out more that you can actually continue the combo. You can juggle the enemy from that point on. So that's going to make for a lot of fun co-op things. Now, with me saying that friendly fire is back, now that makes me wonder if there's going to be team attacks. Because, nobody so far has mentioned any team attacks or any grapple moves or anything like that. So, a little bit concerned in that regard. But I'd assume they're not going to leave some stuff like, grappling out at least. Team attacks, we didn't really have them in Streets of Rage 2. But you can land on your feet. So, in a sense, you kind of had it in a way you didn't. But hopefully they have it here. Honestly, I would like them to have it in this game. Now, the next thing is jump kick doesn't knock down. Now, they didn't mention this in any of the articles. This is just something that I saw in the trailer, but I wanted to go back and go over it again. Yes, we've only seen Blaze's jump kick, so I actually kind of thought to myself, what if it's Blaze's jump kick that doesn't do the knockdown, and the reason for that is for her to be more combo friendly when it comes down to aerial attacks. Maybe she can cancel her jump kicks into other aerial attacks. Maybe she has more than one aerial attack. But so far we know that jump kicks don't knock down, which means you can stun an enemy with any of your jump kicks, if there is more than one, that is. So that, I can kind of give or take that. I understand people probably think that's a little weird, considering that's never been a thing in Streets of Rage, but to me, honestly, I kind of like the idea of not being so easily able to knock down your enemies. Because if there's one thing that kind of bothers me a lot about the jump kick is that, and the reason why I don't use a jump kick a lot of the time, unless I'm using Blaze or in some cases Skate, characters that have to move around a lot. The reason that I don't do jump kicks is because it knocks down the enemy and it just puts us back to square one. I can't really do anything from that point on in the original game. So I don't use jump attack because I like to get as much damage on the enemy as I possibly can. And to me, Streets of Rage has always been a grounded game. So seeing juggles, and it seems like the juggles are going to be tame. Like, it's not going to be some crazy infinite stuff. At least from what it seems like to me. I could be wrong about that. But yeah, jump kick knocking down doesn't really bother me too much. It is a little weird to see that, but I think they're going to do something really good with that. Now, next one, Nora. He calls it the dominatrix, but Nora has a whip combo. So she doesn't just knock you down with a whip. She actually hits you. She actually has a combo. So she'll probably hit you more than once with the whip. Now, I kind of wonder though if what they mean by whip combo. Like, does she whip you more than once, or is it like Elektra's whip combo where it's just one whiplash that like hits you multiple times? That's what I'm kind of wondering. I'm thinking it's probably the former, because I don't think they would say whip combo if it wasn't multiple attacks. But that's what I'm thinking. But it's cool to see that she has that. I would like to see her have the jump kick like she did in Remake, but we'll see. We'll see. For the most part, for the other enemies, it seems like they said that they pretty much attack the same way. Big Ben breathes fire. Garcia does what Garcia does. Now, I wish they had gone into detail about that, because Garcia is actually different between the games. Because Streets of Rage 1, he has a full set of moves. He grabs you he puts you in a full Nelson. He has a full combo. He picks up bats and knives and pipes. He's got a lot of stuff in 1. In 2, he got nerfed pretty hard in 2. All he does is punch you. And, whenever he has a knife in his hand, he just runs around with the knife. That's another thing about Streets of Rage 1. There's 2 knife versions of Garcia. Now, granted, in 2, I wouldn't say they fixed it, but they diversified the enemies by basically taking these multiple versions of Garcia and splitting them into different enemies. So, Donovan, for example, has a combo. The bikers put you in a full Nelson. Jack, he handles the whole knife thing. And, Donovan, of course, he uses pipes as well. So, that could be a thing here. Garcia could probably just have his simple jab and he picks up knives and run around with a knife. Maybe he'll have his elbow from 3, because that's something that's been exclusive to him. 3 added the elbow. So, yeah, I wish they had gone to detail, because Garcia is different in every game. Big Ben, he pretty much does the same thing. He either belly flops or he rolls. That could be one of the things. But I'm guessing in this particular build, he only had the fire breath, because they didn't mention anything else. And it doesn't sound like they fought the Muay Thai fighters, so maybe it's only one stage and doesn't have the Muay Thai fighters in it. But yeah, next point is the Ford Special. does no damage to you and is vulnerable. But the way they described it was forward attack. So what they mean to say is blitz attack. So blitz attacks are back. We know that much. So, but that, I mean, okay. So we know forward special is in the game, but they didn't really say anything about how that works. I'm going to assume it works the exact same way as the defensive special. But I did kind of wonder though if forward special is vulnerable or not, because we all know defensive special is not going to be vulnerable, obviously. But forward special, like I said, Streets Rage 2 is vulnerable. Streets Rage 3 it isn't vulnerable. And from the sounds of it, we don't have the special meter in this case. So, basically, essentially, what they did was take the special meter and kind of put it into your life bar, which I think is actually pretty cool. Because now, when you do the special, like I said, you get your health back by using your attack buttons. So essentially, that's what they did. So I'm going to assume that maybe the forward special does the same thing as the defensive special, and there is no difference. And maybe it's not vulnerable, because I'm pretty sure if that is the case, it may not be a thing where you actually have to land the attack or the attack ends before it takes any of the life away. I think it takes it away immediately from the sounds of it. So it could work like that. That's what I was just wondering about. But yeah, back to the point, blitz attacks are back, so we don't have to worry about Axel not having his grand upper. Now we could have already guessed this anyway, because he does his grand upper in the trailer. We could have guessed that it is, but now we know for sure. There's no BSing there or nothing like that. So now this one worries me, because I'm not sure what they meant by this. They said that there's no more hitting enemies off screen. Now he said that was a good thing. Now it could be a good thing if that means the enemies are staying on screen and you don't have to hit them off screen. If that's what he's saying, then yeah, that is a very good thing. But if he's saying that you can't hit enemies when they're off screen, like how it is in Streets Rage 1 and 3, yeah, I'm not a big fan of that, honestly. Like I said, if you can't do that while they're off screen and they stay on screen most of the time and they always, being aggressive and stuff, like in Streets Rage 1. Streets Rage 1, you didn't really have to worry about these enemies staying off screen too much. Occasionally you probably have, I think Bongo would stand off screen because, he was slow and fat, and a lot of times he wouldn't even try to move towards you if you were too far away from him. So you had that happen, but even then, enemies tried to stay on screen most of the time because they were always, aggressive. They were always on you all the time. But in 2 and 3, you had these issues where sometimes they would just stand off screen. And they would I hated that. And you can't even hit them. And, at least in 2, if they stand off screen, you can hit them. So it's not a big deal. So, like I said, that's one of those things where I have to see for myself. Like, I have to play the game to get a feel of what that is all about. But yeah, that's something that's worrying me. But that's pretty much it for the gameplay. That's pretty much all the info I got so far. But like I said, everything that I'm hearing, how the special moves work. Oh yeah, actually, that's one thing I forgot. Sorry. So with the juggling, they mentioned wall bounce. Now I asked one of the devs on Twitter if this meant that there's going to be walls. Like, is there going to be walls? Is there going to be slanted walk areas that have walls and stuff like that? And he pretty much just told me to stay tuned. Yeah, they can't just jump out and tell you everything. But he told me to stay tuned. So I'm going to assume, somebody mentioned wall bounce. They said that juggling works pretty well, especially against walls. So either that means they bounce off the screen, or there's actual walls. Now, if they bounce off the screen, that's really weird. That's weird. That's weird if they do that. But then again, that actually might mean exactly what that guy was talking about when he said there's no more hitting enemies off screen. Maybe they bounce off the screen. If you knock them far back, maybe they bounce off the screen. Which, like I said, is kind of weird, but it keeps them on screen. So I don't know what to make of that, actually, now that I think about it. So maybe the wall bounce is the thing that keeps them on screen. So there's no more knocking them off the screen anymore. Man, I don't know. Like I said, I don't know what to make of that. That could be a good or a bad thing. It's just something that it's another thing that I just have to try out and see how that pans out. But so far, if that is the case, I mean, it may be a good thing. It may actually be a way to keep the action going and not having these issues of having to wait for enemies to get on screen. Now, stages. Now, one stage was shown. Now, I think this is probably the same stage from the screenshot here. Sorry, I'm bugging out right now, dude. I think it's the same stage from the screenshot that was just there, because it looks like a remake of Stage 1 from Streets of Rage 1. I'm not sure what to think of this. Like I said, it could be the same one from the actual screenshot, and if it is, then that means it's a brand new take on the look. Now, I can't really say like, oh, well, I don't want to see rehashes or whatever, because to be honest with you, every single Streets of Rage game has had the shopping district area. Even 3 had it in Stage 2. So if that's the case, this just could be a simple yet another take on that type of stage, which in a sense would still be new. And then, as I said before, the other stages would include a Chinatown slums, and an office area, which is really cool. So it's good to know that from the get-go we've already seen some new stages in this game and whatnot. So I'm happy to see that. I'm happy to see that they're not just jumping into rehashing stages. I mean, this is a sequel after all. But speaking of which, we got a little bit of info on the music. Once again, thanks to VG247. It sounds like we will have a retro soundtrack. From what I'm reading on the article, that's what I'm seeing here. That we will get a retro soundtrack. Like, the current bill is using like placeholder music and stuff. They're using music and sounds from Streets of Rage 2, which makes me want to play the build even more, because I want to see because it makes me think that that's actually going to stay in the game. That's going to be a retro mode. So, I mean, if they do that, that's going to be cool. Like, please keep that in the game if you guys want to do that. But actually, it makes me want to play the game more, because I'm like, man, what does this game sound like with those sound effects? Like, did they update? Not like update the sounds, but like made them, louder so that it actually, fits in the game. What sound effects are they using? They're using from like all 3 games? Is it just Streets of Rage 2? Like, what music did they use for a placeholder? All that stuff just piqued my interest completely. But that is pretty much it for all the info I have so far. I have trust in the team. I have a lot of trust in them. And I'm going to be happy speaking with them on a podcast if we can set something up next month. Anyway, that is the end of the video. Thank you guys for watching. I got more content coming up, so subscribe, like, comment, share. Follow us on all the social media. Hit us up on Discord. We've got a lot of work to do. Streets of Rage 4 is here. I will see you guys next video.